PEMCAST.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to PEMCAST. Today, we're joined by the ever-friendly Joanna. She is, she's actually the leader. Is that the word we would use, right? For the retreat committee?
Yes.
Right. So, that's hot in the works right now, as you guys are all, I'm sure, aware. So we'll touch on that too, but we also just wanted to get to know Joanna more in general today. So just a little insight on Joanna. She is recently married to Josh Yu, longtime PEM member. So I would really kind of characterize them / Joanna as like really, in my opinion, like the model citizen. I feel like they're just so hospitable and like effortlessly kind people.
Thank you.
So yeah, I mean, like we had a little pre-meetup at your place, and I was like, wow, you guys are like, I feel so taken care of, which has always been the way I felt around Josh. And then when I met you, I was like, you guys make so much sense.
Oh,
because you guys really share that energy, I think. So it's really cool to see.
That's so nice.
Definitely, yeah.
But I've learned a lot from Josh. Like he is like the most like kindest. Like he's such a great host. Like I've learned a lot from him.
Interesting.
Yeah, when it comes to like taking care of guests and.
So would you say that you were less host-y before?
I loved having people over. But I would say I was less toasty before meeting Josh.
Very interesting.
Yeah, I've learned a lot from it.
Definitely. I mean, he's literally been here longer than any of us in a lot of ways for PEM.
Yep.
He was one of the first people that were here when there was just like Praise EM or something.
Yeah, he's
right?
OG.
Yeah. So it's crazy to see him still going just as hard as he was then. Now, I don't understand how he has maintained that, but
yeah,
it's really something. So yeah, actually we had the honor of me and my wife had the honor of going to your wedding, and I really felt like that was like, it felt so you guys. Like, oh my gosh, like the food. I've never had more food. Like I was never more tired of seeing more food come out. Oh my God,
that's amazing.
Like they brought out food, and at one point I'm like, this is like the 7th course. Like, what do you mean you have more desserts? On our way out, they're like, here's a pretzel bar. I'm like, a pretzel bar? You had 3 different desserts.
So I was actually worried there wasn't going to be enough food. But it turns out that there was more than enough, so I'm glad.
Absolutely,
that all the guests were well fed.
Very well fed, and like we had like to-go boxes. Like I'm like, this is so classic.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, but food was definitely important to us.
Yeah, I could tell.
So.
I mean, the cocktail hour was like a meal by itself. So I could imagine you guys were like at the venue thing, because we got married recently too. For those who don't know, but anyways, when we were doing the thing, we're like, oh my gosh, like. So many different packages and stuff, and like you don't really think about it until you have to do it yourself. But like even from like who you were able to invite, because it's like expensive bringing people into like the food. I'm like, you guys freaking would just like pull all the stops, because like it was like your hospitality extended into your wedding too. I felt, so it was really cool.
Oh, that's nice. I'm glad you guys had a good time.
Definitely. It was a good time.
Yeah. No, I love wedding planning. So I know a lot of brides are probably like, what's wrong with her? But I enjoyed the whole process.
Really?
Like even though we had to postpone our wedding, it honestly wasn't that big of a deal for us.
Wow.
Like we still decided to get married, like we're not going to let COVID stop us from getting married. Like I'm still with the man who I want to marry, and be with the rest of my life. So
wow.
Yeah. It's just, a little challenging here and there, but you just got to move on.
Totally.
You can't fix it. Like you can't change anything.
Yeah.
So
we're part of a potentially, hopefully, once in a lifetime group of people who had to do that.
Yeah.
So it's definitely woven into the fabric of our lives, but it's cool. Yeah. Definitely.
For sure.
I remember chatting with you like outside by that barbecue about wedding planning and stuff. Oh my gosh. That was quite the times.
Yeah. The only part that kind of like sucks is that a lot of people couldn't attend our wedding, but it's okay.
Yeah.
There was still a decent amount of people there. Everyone had a good time. And thankfully no one got COVID from our wedding, which that was the biggest thing for us. I was so stressed about that.
Totally.
But
totally.
Yeah.
It's a stressful time. I mean, yeah, trust. We get it. Yeah. So I just wanted to kind of let people know you a little bit more. Just, kind of in a nutshell, get to know who this woman is, you know? So I don't know if you can hear it in the audio, but there are 2 dogs roaming outside this door right now, like just sprinting around. So one's my dog and the other one is Joanna's dog, Zoe. So Emmy and Zoe are like best friends now, which
they
is
are biffles.
so cute. They're like sharing a dental, not sharing, but eating next to each other like a second ago.
Yeah.
Which she never does.
Yeah. As soon as I parked my car, Zoe knew immediately, like, oh, this is Emmy's house. So she actually went straight up to your door.
Seriously?
Yeah. And when she got to the door, she started whimpering.
Aww. Yeah, Emmy is like the biggest fan of Zoe.
Yeah. I love it. I love seeing them 2 together. It makes me so happy.
It does. Yeah. But Emmy is actually like, you know, between Eunice and I, and actually in both of our lives, like our first dog that we really took care of. But I know for you, like you have a history with adopting dogs.
Yeah. So I've always grown up with animals, with pets.
Really?
So when I was young, I had like fish, bunnies, rabbits, turtles. Like, yeah, I just grew up loving animals.
Wow.
And I've had, before Zoe, I had 2 other rescue dogs. And I think that's kind of where like my heart grew for rescue dogs, more so than like getting a dog from a breeder, which guys don't do that. Adopt, don't shop. Yeah, I think it definitely came from my first dog. She was abandoned. Her previous owner couldn't take care of her anymore. And, you know, it was just like, it's so sad because I think that really opened my eyes. Like, wow, there's so many dogs out there that are abandoned, that don't have homes anymore. And they didn't do anything wrong.
Sure.
You know, but they're just left out in the world, like, here, take care on your own. So, and like just hearing like the story, I'm like, wow, like this dog is so traumatized. But the amount of love that like she would give to us after everything that she's been through, like, I was like, how is this possible? Like, yeah, so I think that's where my heart grew for these rescue dogs. And then after she passed away, it was such a hard, like losing a pet is probably one of the hardest things you have to go through. Yeah. And after that, I was like, wow, like, I don't know if I can adopt another dog or like just take care of another dog. But yeah, I follow so many shelters nearby. And then I saw Eugene like a few months after my previous dog, Tina, after she passed away. And I was like, oh my God, like hearing his story and knowing that like I can provide a home for him that is like loving and like, you know, I can give him all the love and treats that he deserves after everything that he's been through too.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, I need to get this dog. I need to rescue another dog. And then he passed away a few months ago. And then we brought Zoe into our home.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeez. I mean, I remember when we were talking about it, something that really stuck out to me is like, well, I mean, I would think more selfishly about a dog passing. Like, oh, I could never do that to the dog or something. But when your perspective is what like really like, I was like, whoa, you're like I need to rescue as many dogs as I can. Yes. And I'm like, what? Like, that's so like backwards from where I was coming from.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, that is so true. Because I mean, like now we have Emmy and like I was not the one who pushed for the dog. It was 100% Eunice, my wife. And she would always like wake up in the morning and then like before I would, and I'd roll over, she's like on dog Instagram, just like looking at dog shelters and stuff. And she's like, look, can you imagine? And I'm like, come on, yo, like it's going to be such a change in our lives. And I'm thinking selfishly about like, you know, do I want all this responsibility? But of course, obviously she had her way at the end. And now I'm like, I'm right there with her. Yeah. Like it really is so fascinating. Like, I feel like each day has so much more meaning because this dog is just like depending on you, but then giving you so much.
Exactly.
And I think it's like such an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
So I now I wouldn't have understood like a month ago, 2 months ago, but I get it, you know.
Yeah, and Emmy too. Her story is that you know, she was found
tied to a pole.
Right.
Yeah. But she's like the sweetest girl.
Yeah, she's so sweet. I was so shocked when I first met her. I didn't think she was going to be that sweet, like hearing what she's been through.
Yeah.
But oh my God, she's an angel.
She's a cutie. A little territorial, but you know, she's a cutie. Dog isn't, I guess. Yeah. That's really awesome. I guess just something goofy. And you know, if this doesn't pan out, we'll just cut it. But I think it'd be cool to hear about like, what was like a favorite childhood TV show?
Favorite childhood TV show? I loved Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah, you're like, Nickelodeon Gale.
Oh yeah,
not about Disney.
I was not so. I did watch Disney, but I was definitely more Nickelodeon.
I get the vibe. I get the vibe.
Oh really?
No, yeah. If I had to take a guess, I'd say Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
So like name a show.
Okay, so I loved, this is like way back, like I loved Blue's Clues. That was my favorite.
Classic.
Yes, I loved Blue's Clues. And then when I got older, I used to watch Disney more than Nickelodeon. Yeah. What did I watch in Disney? There was like Aaron Stevens, the Lizzie McGuire show. Like,
got it.
I loved.
That's So Raven?
That's So Raven, yes. That was so good.
Wow.
Yeah, oh my God. I like can't remember them all now, but it's so different nowadays. I don't know. I feel like it's not as good as it was before.
It was like a different generation. I feel like it doesn't appeal the same way.
Yeah.
Like, half the time I feel like they're just selling clothes or something, you know, but yeah. Sounds
what
like we
else
grew up on the same TV, like SpongeBob.
SpongeBob, yes. That was
Fairly
Nickelodeon.
Odd Parents, yeah.
Yes. Hey Arnold.
Hey Arnold was
that Nickelodeon?
Questionably.
Or was that Cartoon Network?
You know what? I'm mixing it up now. But I was always more on the animated TV side growing up. So like it wasn't until after college where I started watching like real TV. Like I finished The Office, like Breaking Bad and like, you know, more regular TV shows and stuff. Yeah. So it came to me, I was like a late bloomer with that. But I think it was pretty formative. You know, like I feel like what you watched growing up is a little telling about, you know, so that'd be interesting. If I had to take a guess, though, I would have guessed Nickelodeon. So I guess it panned out. Yeah.
Oh.
So then, okay, from there to now, what's like your favorite genre of TV now then?
Okay, I love crime documentaries. Okay, so my dream job is to be like a private investigator.
No way.
Like a detective or something like that, because I love watching these docuseries, like documentaries, crime documentaries, and watching them solve the case and like all the steps they take together. It just amazes me. And I'm like, how awesome is it to be able to like find someone, like if they're guilty or not guilty, and like have all the evidence. I don't know. I love it.
You know, I was like, you're either gonna be like all in like HGTV and like home makeover or like that type of, or like crime documentaries.
No way.
It was crime documentaries.
Yeah, you got it right.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Have you watched it was actually on YouTube. It's not really crime, but like just weird, like serial killery stuff. You know what I'm talking about? Like
on YouTube?
Or like, what's his name? Something Cooper. WB Cooper. BuzzFeed Unsolved.
I don't think I saw that.
They do little docu-series on just like the thing. And I used to watch that all the time. Some of them it's like kind of like spoofy, like, ooh, ghosts or whatever.
Yeah.
But some of them were really interesting. Like I learned about some really weird, like, what happened type. Unsolved.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, that's gross.
I have watched a couple of those.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like that vein, are you more like...
Yeah, like that. Or I love like just the Netflix.
Got it.
Yeah. The Netflix.
There's a lot on Netflix now.
Yeah. Lately, there's just been so many.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was last year, the one like innocent people got sent to prison. Whoa. That was so sad to watch. And like, it's crazy how there's so many people like them out there who are innocent, but got sent to prison or still in prison. Yeah.
Yeah, we need to take a closer look at that. For sure. Yeah. Wow. So I'm just looking through my notes here. And so my story is I grew up at this church, like through the youth group. Right when I graduated was 2012 high school, if that dates me. And then the EM started that Josh came out to. That's the first time I met Josh. And then by 2013, after the first semester of freshman year, I transferred out to go to school in Boston. And I was there for like the next 7 or 8 years. Then I came back and then like, I'm like, PEM's my church, but like nothing's the same, right? So somewhere in between there, you showed up. Yeah. How did you come into PEM?
Yeah, so I started coming out to PEM in, I believe it was 2018 or 2017. No, it was 2017. Yeah, so I attended another church before. And then, so I dated a guy at this previous church for like a few years. And then we ended up, it didn't work out. And I was like, well, I'm leaving this church. I'm gonna find my own church.
Yeah.
And like I had friends at PEM, so I like came one day. I was like looking, trying to find my church, and then I came to PEM and I felt so comfortable. Maybe it's because I already knew people there, but everyone was so welcoming. And I remember I asked a bunch of people, like, how can I serve? And like people just gave me like they were telling me all these different committees. And then I was like, can anyone just like start serving in these committees? And they're like, yeah, like we're open arms. Just like, if you want to start serving, like pick a committee and yeah, just go for it. So then I was in retreat committee. I was in fellowship committee. I was giving rides for college students. I feel like I was in one more thing, but yeah, so pretty much I started coming out to PEM because I had a breakup.
Sure.
Yeah.
So you kind of just dived right in then,
Yeah,
huh?
it was, I think I made a promise to God, like, after we broke, the whole like breakup happened, I was like, wow, I like really didn't spend any of my time, like the 4 years I was, with him, like serving. It was honestly like every weekend we would just be together.
Sure.
And then like Sundays we'll just go to church.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Now that I'm single, I have all this free time now. So I might as well use this time to actually like serve. And also like I was new to a church and it was such a great way to get to meet other members of the church.
Absolutely. So, yeah. I mean, I've definitely been in relationships that are very similar before I met my wife. And yeah, it's definitely different. I think it's really fitting in a lot of ways that you would meet Josh of all people.
I know, right? So like, funny story, Josh and I did, well, he doesn't think it was a date, but I think of it as a date. Our first date back in 2013.
Whoa.
Yeah. So that was like my first time actually getting to know him, but he was in a different like stage in his life and like I was looking for something more serious. So nothing really happened.
Sure.
But we still stayed as friends throughout the years. But I never would have thought I would be a Josh right now. Like I never.
Life is that way, huh?
It really is. Like God is funny.
Definitely. Wow. That's really encouraging though. I really love that. I think PEM really excels at being a place for people who initiate for themselves. But I think, definitely a weak point, though, is, well, I won't say a part that's been hard to address because of the sudden growth of this church was building a skin that grows with the insides. So I feel like we got stretched thin a bit as it grew, right? And a big reason why we're doing this podcast, too, right, is so that we can broadcast to the greater body more of these opportunities. Like, the previous one was with Chris and his like dance ministry, which, by the way, since then they had a meeting. Because I guess it worked, right?
That's awesome.
Like it was enough of a little beacon to get some people together, and that's been really cool. So for you, right, who is PEM for you? As in, like, how do you identify with the church? Do you know? I'll give you an example answer.
Yeah.
So for myself, I definitely relate more with the young adults. Where would you kind of paint that picture for yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I would say definitely young adult too. Because like we like recently got married like, a year ago. Yeah, definitely young adult. But I would love to like get to know the married folks more, like the ones with kids.
Yeah.
I feel like you could just learn so much.
It's another ball
from
game.
them. Yeah, like, and like they're just so honest with you. Like you ask them something, ask for advice, and like they're just straight up tell you. They won't like sugarcoat anything. And like, I appreciate that so much. Wait, what was the second question?
I don't know if there was a second question. Okay. But yeah, that's awesome. And I agree. I mean, so my sister and her husband recently are in PEM, and they have a child. So they've been part of like, the family part of our church. And it's been really encouraging to just see how like robust they are. Yeah, it's a really cool part of our church. And as also a newlywed, like very excited at the prospect of us also getting more involved and getting to know them more.
Yeah, and it's like nice knowing that we do have like parents at our church who we can like go to for advice once we do become parents, Yeah. So that's really nice.
Definitely. Yeah. So this is a little shout out to the families at PEM. We want to get to know you. Please, let's do that. Yeah, I mean, Lonnie, as you know, recently
she's
joined.
So awesome. Yes,
she was just at the. She couldn't join us today, unfortunately, but right, she's awesome, and we're so thrilled to have her.
Yeah, she's perfect for PEMCAST. So I'm so glad.
I was blown away when she was there. I'm like, dude, can you please host? Like, I'm not the fit here, guys. Like, but anyways.
No, you're amazing. Yeah.
So, that's cool. I really, I didn't know how and when. That's funny because we only missed each other by a year then, because I came in 2018.
Oh, okay,
like tail end of 2018. Yeah. So only about a year off from each other. But yeah, things go fast.
Yeah, I remember I saw you. I was like, oh, I've never seen him before.
Yep.
And everyone kept telling me, oh no, he's been here. Yeah.
It's like half the people like, he's been here. The other half like, who?
Yeah.
It was a weird thing to come into, because to answer the question like, oh, are you new here, was like a complicated answer.
Right.
Like yes and no, depending on who you ask. But
right.
Yeah. So, okay. I wanted to pick your brain a bit about retreat. How, when, why? How, like, so you just joined the committee, I guess, right?
Yeah. So I was serving the retreat committee at the time. It was Colleen who was the leader. So I started retreat, pretty much like when I first started coming out to PEM. And then Colleen was serving for a few years as the leader. And then, she figured, time for me to step down, give someone else a chance to lead. So then she asked me. So when she first asked me, I was like, oh no, like, I don't know. Can I do this? Am I capable of taking on a committee that it's a lot of work, you know?
Yeah.
But I was like, I prayed about it. I was like, you know what? Like, God, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you that you're going to help me throughout this whole retreat committee, like, leading process.
Yeah.
And like, I've been so blessed and thankful that the retreat committee team is so strong.
Wow.
I appreciate every single one of them. Like, they make the meetings so productive, so fun. Like, if it wasn't for them, I don't know if I could lead this committee without them. Right. Yeah. So big shout out to all the retreat committee members.
Wow.
Yeah. So there's Brian Lee, Sam Kim, Subin Cho, Katie Kim, Anna Young, Andy Lee, and we actually have Tina, who is, she's one of the married. She's pretty new to PEM, and she decided to join the retreat committee. Tina and Ernie. Yeah.
You know, funny story about them. They went to the same church I went to in Boston.
No way.
And they followed me here. No, yeah, no, they're really awesome. They're really awesome up there too. So I'm not surprised that they,
Yeah, and like, I've been praying. I'm like, wow, I really want a married PEM.
Wow.
Yeah, to join the committee, because you just need someone from like each life stage pretty much. Yeah. It just helps the planning process. It just helps a lot. Because like, sometimes we don't understand the struggles, the challenges that they go through for retreat. So being able to hear, the different sides of all the challenges and issues when it comes to retreat is very, very useful for planning.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I mean, wow, we are already at the wait list capacity, right?
Oh my gosh.
That blew fast.
Can I tell you, like, so Sunday was the last day for the early bird, right?
Yeah.
And then before Sunday morning, we had like 65 people, right? And then all of a sudden Sunday night, we reached like 100.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It was like, I was actually a little hesitant to have retreat this year because of COVID and like everything going on. Like, are people actually going to sign up? Right. Like, there's still a minimum that we have to meet with the retreat center, but people want retreat, and it's so nice to see that.
Yeah.
Like, people still want to go.
Of course.
Yeah. I know it's been 2 years, so.
It has been a while. Like 2 years in retreat time is like a millennium, right? Because they come only once in a blue moon.
Right. Yeah. So I was very encouraged to see like the numbers go up. And PEM worship, PEM praise team will be leading worship at this retreat, which we all know is going to be fire. Yeah. And so the theme, I actually haven't announced this to anyone yet.
Oh, yeah?
But the theme for retreat is going to be refreshed.
Oh.
And our guest speaker is going to be Pastor Dave Park from Mosaic Church.
No way.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's going to be amazing.
That's really exciting.
It's going to be so good.
Big debut here, guys.
Yes.
Well, we'll see who says it first by the time this gets out. But wow.
I'll keep it a secret until this comes out.
Yeah. Oh, shoot. I didn't know any of that. So we're at like 100 capacity. Yeah. And then so for the wait list, the way that works, I guess, is as it gets closer, if anyone can't go for whatever reason.
Yeah. So either that, if anyone cancels, or there's also going to be another group at the retreat center.
Oh.
That same weekend. So if they
back out.
Yeah. Or like, you know, if all their rooms aren't filled, then it comes to us.
Got it.
Yeah. We already have a few people on the wait list already.
Yeah. For those who have not gone to the retreat or thought about it much, I have been to a few in my weird gapness. But yeah, it's really awesome. It's a really good way to get to know the church more and, you know, meet all the other sides of the church that maybe aren't in your immediate reach, you know, which has always been kind of like a highlight, I think, in a lot of ways. So,
yeah, retreats.
Yeah.
Yeah, retreats are so awesome. Like, I feel like life just gets so busy.
Oh my gosh.
And like, just to have one weekend away from the busyness of your life and to just really focus on God. And also it's such a great time to meet other members within the church too.
Yeah.
So like we try to room people with like people they wouldn't really know small groups. But with the rooming situation this year, it's a little different.
Right.
Because of COVID, we kind of want people be comfortable. But small groups, we are going to try to really mingle with people that you wouldn't normally hang out with. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
I've met a good amount of good people from small groups. So yeah, cool. So how, in terms of the committee, do you guys need any more volunteers? Is that?
Yeah, we need volunteers. Yeah. So if anyone is looking to serve at PEM, please, retreat committee. It's fun. It's a great committee. I feel like some people think it's stressful, but it's really not. Like we try to keep it like really stress-free, just keep the meetings very fun. Yeah, it's fun. So if anyone's looking to serve, retreat committee.
I feel like Joanna can keep just about anything lighthearted. So
thank you.
I mean, if you could lightheartedly plan a wedding, which is that's not easy, then I would trust you with the retreat. Wow.
Thank you.
No, that's huge.
I mean, who knows? Maybe the retreat committee members might not think the same, but
as the glorious leader.
Right.
No, definitely. I would. That sounds awesome. So in terms of like commitment then to, you know, give people a little more in on what that looks like. I guess you guys are, I don't know, probably only active a few months to retreats. Is that true?
So we start planning 3 months before retreat. Yeah. So pretty much leading up to signups, we're just brainstorming activity ideas. Pretty much mostly focus on activity and the schedule.
Sure.
A lot of brainstorming there. And then once signups are done, that's when it really happens. The rooming, the small groups, the logistics, if anyone needs rides, all that good stuff.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, of course, there's, you know, some cancellations towards the end. So then you have to start moving people around.
Why does this sound exactly like planning
a wedding?
It really does. But wow. Okay. For all of our administratively talented folk, this sounds like an awesome family to join. So please, best way to reach you, I guess, would be like...
Yeah, Facebook. That's probably the best.
Probably the best way. Okay.
Or directly on Sundays. You just come up to me.
Right. You can see her face here, guys. So look for this one. She usually sits on the left, right, center?
The left side, yeah.
Left side. It's funny. Everyone has like a spot, right?
It's so funny.
It is pretty funny.
Yeah, whenever I'm looking for someone, I'm like, okay, which side do they normally sit on? And then I look on that side and they're there. Yeah.
It's like every week they have a spot. It's like, you're my seat.
Yeah.
Just kidding. But actually on that, guys, hot tip. If you care about the way things sound, it sounds the worst further out left, further out right. Best towards the center. Best a little behind the middle row of the chairs in the center. And then it's not worse, but interesting. The closer you get front center. So if you care about that, try it out. It's a little hot tip for you guys. Okay. You'll be surprised actually if you just do a walk around during worship. Like it sounds different everywhere you're sitting.
Good to know. Which is, I didn't know that.
Something we need to address, but we're getting there, guys.
I think it sounds good even from the left side. So
well, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
Those line arrays though. So for the retreat though, right? What would you say is like your core like philosophy? Like what do you missionally want when you're planning and you're leading this retreat in the committee, right? Like what's kind of like the vision that you strive for?
Yeah. So for me, I want us many people to attend retreat because like I said, it only happens once or twice a year. But we also really want non-PEN people to attend as well. Yeah, like we want friends, like bring them on. You know, it doesn't only have to be PEM PEM members. But for me, I really want people to really use this time to like really focus on their relationship with God, but then also create relationships within the church. And then, just I totally lost my track of thought.
Well, I think you covered a good amount right there.
Yeah. And like we really want people to feel comfortable when they attend retreat.
Right.
So we really try to really focus on
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah.
So I used to play or do sound or be involved with a lot of retreats. Ever since I was a senior in high school, I'd play like 3 or 4 retreats a year.
Oh, wow.
For not my own church or anything. So I've been to, I think I can now say hundreds of retreats as a band member.
That's crazy.
Rather than
100?
Yeah, I would. It's been like 10 years. Yeah. So, oh God, I'm dating myself again. So with that though, I've really seen a lot of different ways they're structured. And something I've always appreciated about PEM is it's so lax.
Oh, the retreats?
Yeah.
Oh.
No, like you really.
Is that good or bad?
It's so good.
Okay.
Like usually, I feel like retreat committees, however it ends up going, like they pack it so hard. It's like going on a date with like 10 different things to do. So you're just like running to keep up with the appointments and
it's like boot camp.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I just need a pee break and like there's no time. But I think with PEM, it's very spaced. You know. So I've always been a fan of just the pace of a PEM retreat.
Oh, that's so nice to hear. Because sometimes we're like, do we not have enough? Like, should we put more in there? But, that's good to hear.
Yeah, so there's a little feedback from me.
Awesome.
As a seasoned retreater.
Yeah, okay, good.
Yeah, it's cool. It is really cool. I think it gives a lot of space for people to get to meet and have more casual, organic sort of, time. Of course, you need to force some people in the room sometimes, but I think it's good. Yeah, definitely.
Oh, awesome. That makes me so happy. Because sometimes I keep going back and forth. Like,
yeah, I mean, I'm sure I'm one person with one opinion, and some will want the other. But for me personally, I think it's good. So
okay. Nice.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we've gotten to know Joanna pretty well here, right? So she's a Nickelodeon gal. Has a planning bone in her body and unbelievable optimism and a love for dogs.
Yes.
So guys, please get to know Joanna more. And if you want to go out to the retreat committee and just kind of find.
Yes.
And I really, as somebody who has always served growing up, the reason why I come back to serving all the time, right, is because it's kind of like getting an adopted dog where like life has more meaning and it's just more vibrant and there's more to do. And I think the way it kind of connects you with community and the way that it can keep you accountable a lot of ways too. It's really worth it. So if that's something you've been afraid of or shy from, I think this is a great place to start.
Agree.
It's active like once or twice a year for a few months. You feel the vibes with her. She's chill, I'm way more intense of a person. I'm trying really hard to keep this lighthearted, but like I'm like always reaching for the heavy stuff, like look at her. So I think if that's like where you want to start out, I really encourage you guys to reach out to her.
Thank you.
So yeah, definitely. I hope you guys had a good time here on the podcast. I hope you had a good time here at the podcast.
No,
Enjoy
thank
that
you.
Mango lychee tea.
This tea is amazing. I have to get more
Plug for that tea.
Yeah.
H Mart. Tea aisle. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, anyways, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll leave your contact information, maybe like just your Instagram handle or whatever is the way to reach you somewhere in the description. So you guys can look for it there. Yeah. Anyways, that's all, guys. Bye-bye.